to start another episode
Yay.
of MomCom. I'm Nicole.
And I'm Shannon.
And today we are going to talk about something that I think we all struggle with in different ways, and that's mom guilt.
Yeah, it
Right?
is. And I think what's our reminder again? It's not you.
It's motherhood. That's true.
Mom guilt, I think, is universal, right? I'm sure we all, it torments me if I'm being honest. We talk about it all the time, but I think what's really interesting is there's sort of different levels of mom guilt, different types of mom guilt. It shows up in different ways. It can take over your thoughts. It can consume your thoughts. It can impact the way you're acting on a day-to-day basis, but it is underlying, right? Unfortunately. And I wish we could all just give ourselves a little break and not feel it so much. But again, it's just not how it works. So we want to dive into it today. So Nicole and I talk about mom guilt all the time. And so in thinking about this episode and sort of what we wanted to share, we actually pulled a little bit of research just to understand mom guilt a little bit more, because we've talked about, and we'll dig into it more, how your mom guilt looks and feels a little different than my mom guilt. So I'm assuming for everybody there, it kind of can feel different. So I found this interesting. So I'm going to read a couple things off of here, and then let's dissect. Let's see how.
Yeah, and then let's kind of talk about how your mom guilt plays in and how mine does, and we'll go. So
here's just an interesting statistic. Now, this is from 2023. A Bright Horizons survey found that 87% of moms feel mom guilt weekly, and 58% feel it daily. Now, I don't know,
weekly or daily.
I mean, I'm daily.
I'm weekly.
See, already I like, so it's different. That's interesting, because when I
daily for me.
When I read this stat, do you know what's wild? Is I thought that feels low, because so let's see, 87% of moms.
Is it daily if you feel like, for example, they don't do a certain task and I feel like I'm failing? Do you think that's mom guilt?
Yes.
Okay, then it's every day?
Yes. So here's what's interesting. So this little bit of research says, and please, I'm sure there's so much more out there, but says there's 3 types of mom guilt. So real guilt, which I like this definition, when your values and actions misalign. So that's,
when I lose my shit and then, yes.
Exactly. So real guilt is this like compass, not a punishment. So there's real guilt, then there's fake guilt, and this is based on expectations, not truth, right? The like, I should have, or based on all of our doom scrolling and these social media comparisons that we do, or this culture, just comparison, right? That can be a really awful thing. So there's this fake guilt. It's like, is it coming from me and my actual values, or is it because of
expectations from other people, from family, of yourself?
Yes. Now, here's the third one that has come up, is absorbed guilt. So this is when we take responsibility for feelings that aren't ours. So our kids' disappointment, right? If our kids wanting more time on something, our partner's frustrating us, whatever it might be. So there's that absorbed guilt, which I think is interesting, because I don't know that I would have framed it that way. But I think it's this idea of like, their feeling is real. Yeah. My kids can feel a certain way and that's real for them, but I don't have to take on that emotion, and I don't have to then feel guilty or feel bad, because they're humans and they're going to have their own feelings too. So I don't know, an interesting thing to think about: real guilt, fake guilt, absorbed guilt.
Is absorbed guilt, I don't know if this is the same. I don't know. But is it kind of like when my kids are in a bad mood about something, and then I get in a bad mood because they're in a bad mood?
I think so. Because then
that happens all the time.
Yeah.
If that's what they're saying.
It's taking on, I think it's taking on feelings that maybe aren't initially yours, and then it shifts.
Right.
I mean, possibly. I could be sort of thinking about it in the wrong way, but I think
that's what it sounds like.
I mean, the universal theme with this, whether it's 3 types of guilt, 10 types of guilt, whatever, is that it's there.
It is.
And it feels awful. Like, I go to bed every night and I replay. This is real, and this is gonna sound nuts, possibly, but I replay key moments of the day. I replay the day, and I feel awful about, inevitably there's a moment or 5 moments that I feel awful about the way I handled it because I couldn't regulate myself in that, or I was just overwhelmed, or I was not as patient as I want to be. And then what happens is I take it a step further. And unfortunately for poor Tim, our pillow talk becomes me replaying these moments to him out loud. And then the conversation is, Shannon, we can't do this every night. Like, Shannon, you're doing a great job. Shannon, stop torturing yourself, but it's very real. And I think it's because of these expectations we have on ourselves as a mother that I want to do the best possible job. And my friends will reinforce for me, oh my gosh, you're doing a great job. You show up for your kids every day. But I replay the moments and I think about, gosh, I wish I would have said this, or I wish I would have remembered to do that. And so that's sort of how my mom guilt plays into my day-to-day life. And that's probably part of why I then wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and can't sleep. But yours feels different, right? I mean, there's the day-to-day, but
there's some of it, but I didn't like being a mom for many years, from the beginning until I really started EMDR therapy to try to figure out why I felt the way I did. And it was because of my childhood. And it was my kids. There were so many triggering moments for me that I didn't realize that that's what was happening to me. That's why I hated it so much. I used to say, I hate this. I hate being a mom. This is horrible. Why do people do this? Why do people want to do this?
Well, I'm so proud of you, though, that you were able to do the therapy and understand why, because you've told me, because we didn't know each other when our kids were very, very little.
No.
Well, they're Matthew, but the bigger kids.
Yeah.
And I remember you telling me exactly that.
I hated it.
Hated it. But the more I understand you and your childhood and your history, it does make a lot of sense how you had so many triggering moments. And I'm sure there are others who maybe are experiencing that thought and that feeling. And hopefully this is, maybe this is helping them to realize, oh my gosh, there were things
that happened
from my childhood that who knows, you may have pushed those so far aside to be able to put one foot in front of the other. But I think the fact that you were able to really address it and look at how far you, as a mother, you and a human in general, but you have grown and just force yourself to be uncomfortable in those moments so that you could come out on the other side, right?
Yeah, I didn't realize. I thought maybe there's why am I feeling this way and saying it, but nobody else is?
Yeah.
And I thought, what's wrong with me? There's something wrong with me.
Yeah.
Why do I feel this way? And then when the therapist kind of started pointing out, when we talk about all the horrible things that happened, and now in my own family, and you have little kids and it's full of chaos and the kids are physically fighting, which is a horrible trigger for me.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my gosh, this is when you grow up in chaos, you don't, and I work so hard to leave that environment, and then you have kids and then your life is back to chaos.
Right.
I thought, oh my God.
How did I get back here?
I tried to get out of this, but it's a different style of chaos. But my body, my mind, to me, it didn't register that way. So I had to do EMDR therapy, which is taking old memories and reframing them so that they're not associated with the feelings that I had in the past when I had those situations.
That's fascinating. So can I ask a question? EMDR therapy. So was that weekly? What did that look like?
I did it every week for a while.
Okay. And is it sitting talking to somebody? Is it?
So I did it. She actually lived in the area, but she only would do virtual visits.
Okay.
And what you do is you look at a computer screen and you see a ball that goes back and forth, and your eyes follow the ball. And you are being asked about the certain memory that you're working through. And with that memory, before EMDR, I would think of this certain memory and it makes you, how it makes you feel, right?
Mm.
Like sick to your stomach.
Mhm.
I can't breathe. I'm anxious. I'm upset. I'm sad. And then by reprogramming this thought, and you do it, I mean, I did it for a year.
Okay. But that's helpful to understand. This isn't something that just two sessions
happened.
and
But I also could
That was a
probably
lot
do
of
it
yeah.
for years.
Oh,
I kind of felt like
to work through.
God, there's so much to work through. Like, am I ever gonna work through all of these?
Yeah.
So, but it helped me realize why I hated being a mom.
It's so fascinating, and I'm just so proud of you that you took the steps
Thank you.
to do it, and thank you for talking about it so openly because it's a lot and it's heavy, and I know there's a lot there, but I'll be honest, I didn't even know what that therapy was before you shared your experience with me. So I would guess there are other people who possibly just didn't have the same. I mean, we all have access to all of the information that we want, but I think there are things I wouldn't even know to necessarily search for or to realize. So I think thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I feel like kind of the roads lead once you're in the situation, and I was just like, my whole life was chaos and horrible. And then I finally got myself out of that place. And then when you have the children and then you're back in that place, then I started panicking. Like, I can't stay in this place.
That's a lot.
And I found Gabby Bernstein, who you will hear me talk about all the time because I love her so much. And she is the one that talked about EMDR therapy.
Okay.
And that's how I was like, that sounds like something that I should do.
Amazing.
And there's there's tapping methods. And so she teaches a lot of methods, meditation, that the breathing.
Mm-hmm.
So this therapist that taught me about EMDR and that we did it together, she taught me about breathing. And when I actually do it, even my daughter would be like, "Good job breathing, mommy." When she was younger, she was like 7 when I started doing this. How old is she? 9?
Yeah.
Yes. So it's probably been 2 years. And so she would comment.
That's amazing.
And even this past weekend when we were like in a rush, I was packing up from a trip and I wanted to make an earlier flight, but I didn't know if we could make it. And Griffin said to me, "Mom, take a breath." And I was
That's
like,
amazing. That's amazing.
These kids are so smart.
But this is where let's have the opposite of mom guilt. Be so proud of yourself.
Yes.
That they have not only seen all of this, been able to experience this transformation, but they see that even as adults, you have to put the work in. Mm-hmm. And they see that you're doing that and you're leading by example. And then it makes it feel, they don't feel that angst about them helping themselves and going to their different therapies and things. I think it's amazing.
I hope so.
I think it's amazing.
There's the daily mom guilt too. Like, when you have children that you're in the thick of it and you're trying so hard and things are just
exploding all around you.
Absolute craziness. Yeah. And then I'm trying to think like my job is to make these kids happy, healthy, thriving. And Griffin won't get off Fortnite.
Yeah.
The kids won't go to bed. There's so many. They won't wake up. Yeah.
Will fight me about everything. Yeah. I mean,
and they fight you every step of the way. And you're like, oh my God, when is this going to get better?
Yeah. Well, what's interesting. So what I'm in right now, and I'm in so much at the moment that I get a little angst about oversharing because I want to be respectful of my family and everything. But I think some of my mom guilt's coming in because my son is working through something right now. I honestly, I don't know what it is. We're trying to figure it out. And I have guilt of, why didn't I start therapy sooner? Why didn't I have someone there for him to, why did I not take steps before it got to the point where I feel like, please tell me we're not too late. Do you know what I mean? So now I'm going, why did I not do that? Was it my own, I shared in earlier episodes that for whatever reason, there is this sort of stigma. It's so silly. If there's help, get it, take it, use it. But we are, we're taking steps now. We're doing OT and trying to just figure out where some of that tension is coming from for him and how to help him work through instead of it having to be a bubble up in 0 to 60 so fast.
Yeah.
And I think he reacts. And honestly, I don't think he's in control in those moments. I don't think he's
Right.
saying to himself, I am going to go do this or do that or hurt. I don't think he's the most amazing,
doesn't
thoughtful
know.
boy.
Yeah.
I just think it's hard in those moments. So
Yeah.
then I'm sitting, go, oh my gosh, how do I make him? I don't want him to feel that tension. I don't want him to feel so dysregulated. So we're working through it, and I know I hope we'll get there.
But it adds like a different level of mom guilt, right?
Yes.
Because you're in a situation that's really hard right now.
Yeah.
So on top of like your normal
That's true. Yeah.
mom guilt that you feel like, oh, I didn't, do this right today, but it's a little heavier.
Yeah. Well, right. And
because you don't, and also you're searching and looking and finding and learning and about how to make things better for him. But it's really hard to watch. So now you're watching.
It's really hard.
And it's painful to see your kids struggle.
All consuming. And then it becomes, does it dictate the way the rest of the family feels? And unfortunately, right now where we are is yes. And I feel for my daughter who's saying, oh my gosh, can we just get to school without there being a battle? Can we just have, and for the baby, I don't want him to see things and feel so, but that's not putting fault or blame on my son who's going through it. We're working through this as a unit and as a family, but it's hard. It's hard.
And all kids have certain things they're going to go through if they're not right now.
Yeah.
Like I had a friend who she would always say like, my child is such an angel. She's such an angel. This kid is so easy. And I was like, and I'm so grateful for this mom because if it wasn't for her, I don't know that I would have survived the first 5 years, honestly. But I was jealous.
Right. I mean,
like she had one kid that maybe was harder and one kid that was just super easy. And I had both kids that were just
and back to back
hard. And her kids are the same exact ages.
Oh, okay.
And boy, girl, same exact.
Okay.
And I was like, but my daughter
You're like,
is not easy. There's nothing easy. I don't want her to be easy. I love that she is, says what she thinks and she's sassy and she's got a personality and she goes after what she wants. I love that. But do I wish it was not so hard? Yeah, I did.
Right.
And I just felt like, God, why is it not like that for me?
Right. It's hard. It is hard.
And it wasn't.
That's what would the
but
comparison
also,
guilt that happens.
When she's older, maybe her daughter won't be as hard. Right. And there's going to be challenges for that was my whole point.
Yes,
I forgot my point, but here's my point. My point was that at every age, at different stages, like maybe right now it's easy. Maybe later it's hard, and I just thought yesterday when I took Griffin to his first food therapy session, and it went so good. And he tried cucumbers and a banana and a turkey sandwich, and he ate it, and he actually liked it. And I thought, why didn't I do this sooner? And I had that same exact thought.
And you know what?
But here we are doing it now.
Like,
why are we not saying, oh my God, look what you're doing?
And that's because hearing you tell your story, I'm like, but you're doing it now.
So I need to
say the same thing.
But that's why we need
reinforce. Yes. Yeah.
Because I needed someone to be like, when I had that thought in my head, like, we can't go backward. We can't think about the past. The past is gone.
Right. Move forward.
We have to do what we're doing today. And even if we do one thing today to make it better for tomorrow.
I love that. Yes.
Then we're doing an awesome job. We're showing up. We're being curious. We're looking for answers. We're writing it out.
Yeah.
And,
And it is hard because when you're in the moment, it's so hard to see that perspective and to realize we're feeling all of these feelings of guilt because we care so much, because we take this job of motherhood so incredibly seriously.
Yeah.
I want my kids, they are wonderful people, and I want them to be good people with values and morals and go through this world and be successful. I mean, that's what we all want.
Right.
And I think it's hard when there's hard moments and you wonder like, why is this happening? And how do I fix it? And how do I fix it? And when the fix isn't automatic or easy, I think it just makes the struggle even more challenging. And then for me who, I'm like, oh my gosh, he goes from 0 to 60. Well, guess who else goes from 0 to 60? Mom.
Yeah.
Like, I will be patient, and explode.
It's too much.
And absolutely explode. And then I'm like, I'm the worst human being in the world. Why would I have ever just done that? Why did I act that way? All the things. And then again.
Yes. So it's a loop. It's a loop-de-loop.
It is a loop.
And I used to feel the same way when I tried to get Griffin to get out of the car to go in the school, and he wouldn't get out of the car. And then the principal's yelling at me because I pulled over and I got out of my car, and everyone in my car is crying. And I'm fighting now with the principal of the school, who I've never met before.
Oh my goodness.
And then not only am I fighting with her, she took my kids and she's like, this is not good for them to see. And she walked them in the school.
Oh my.
I went to work an absolute mess. I had no communication. I didn't know if my kids were okay. Everything was so traumatic.
Oh, that right. And then you're trying to work, but I
worried about, because all I thought about was them.
Are they okay? Did they regulate? Did they get back? Are they able?
What are they thinking now?
Right.
And I could not wait to see my kids.
That was me yesterday. We had a hard morning. So I messaged the teacher, and I said it was a challenging morning here. And I was the crazy mom who was like checking, like, did she see it? Did she see it? So then I checked in again, and she was very reassuring. Aww. And as soon as that bus pulled up, I just couldn't wait. And actually, it was a really beautiful moment he was very sweet, and it made me feel like, I felt bad because I think he must have been thinking about it too, because he was like, I'm so sorry. He did. Yeah.
God,
and
he's such a sweet boy.
He is. He's so thoughtful and so sweet. But then, my God, but she said he did well, and she wouldn't have known that things went, I guess, people always remind us kids are very resilient too, but I can't help but think about how each of these moments, like, what's it chipping away at? Are they going to recover fully? But
yes.
So
it's true.
Really, back to my little research packet here, because I thought this was interesting. And it's things that we know, but it says about practical reframe. So when we're spiraling in this guilt, what are ways that we can help ourselves if we don't have our friend there reinforcing the things that we need to hear, or our partner, whoever it is?
All right.
And I really like this one. And it's not, again, this isn't groundbreaking, but it's the and statement, right? So we've all heard this idea of there's two things can be true. So I love my kids. And I need a break. So I think being honest with ourselves and understanding that that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. For me, this really, I like this. Here's another example.
Yeah.
I'm a good mom, and I can't do everything. Hard to say out loud because we're super.
Yeah. What do you mean I can't do everything, Shannon?
But actually, so
it's true.
Now, realistically, we talk in the moment. Are you gonna go from 0 to 60 and come back to 0 because you're saying, oh, the and statement? Probably not.
No,
but later when you're in bed
Mm-hmm.
and you are worrying, if you're one of those thinking about it, just remind yourself, it's okay. Just because you had that moment that you're not super proud of, it doesn't mean you're not a good mom. And I'm saying this and I'm looking this way because I'm telling myself to, because it's really hard.
It is hard.
But I like that, two things can be true.
That's a good takeaway. For the first 7 years, it was not in my mind.
Right.
Not at all. It was, I hate this.
Like,
so
full stop.
That's
Period.
it.
Yeah.
I hate this. I don't want to be doing this.
Yeah.
But now I can say that more times than not, I like being a mom.
Which is amazing.
It's changed for me. And I can say that one thing I could always say, though, was that I was a good mom.
Yes.
Which I didn't like it. I'm a good mom and I hate this.
Do you remember
what I would say?
But do you remember when we first became friends and we just dove right into everything, right?
Yeah.
And you would tell me how you would express this to me. And I was like, and remember me, I'm like, what?
None of my friends could believe it.
Well, and I was like, but you're such a good mom. Like, I watched you and I'm taking notes. I'm like, how does she, I could not comprehend the and there that you're such an amazing mom.
My truth.
And actually you hated it in those moments, but you wouldn't know. And I feel like some of us are like, oh my gosh, my dreams are coming true. This is all I've ever wanted was to be a mom.
Yes.
And I think I'm failing at it. Like I am always like, gosh, they are these three beautiful people who I am
who you created,
obsessed with,
I
right?
know.
How can I have these moments where I feel like I'm so not doing or momming the way that I want to? It's hard. It's hard because then I feel just like so guilty because I'm like, I love it. This is all I've ever wanted.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It is hard.
And then it doesn't look like you expected.
No.
And we talked about that.
Right.
It's like,
and it would be me who doesn't look like I expected. I'm like, how am I losing my cool? Why am I not more patient?
I had all the patience in the world before I had children.
See, I don't think I ever did. I think I think my brothers would say, Shann's been a spaz from day one. So I guess, unfortunately, I, in 41 years, have not figured out that one.
No, I don't see you that way at all. But I think, how we feel internally is like kind of drives us. Yeah. And, I felt totally out of control for so many years and sometimes still do.
Yeah.
But it has gotten better the older they've gotten with those moments. I think the ages that my kids are now, I keep telling you, are going to be like life-changing.
Yeah.
Because don't get me wrong, like I may look and seem like everything's, cool now, but it's not. And then we're going to go into teenage years. So that's what...
And that's why we just hope that everything we're doing and the reinforcement of morals and values and how we operate, that's because I think the teenage years we know they're tricky and we know it's hard.
Well, now
and
I'm scared to death.
Me too. I mean, they're going to be...
What are we going to do?
I don't know. We're going to talk to all of you about it. And we're going to figure this out together because community.
That's a great answer.
Right? I mean,
we can't focus on that now because
I'm living right now in
day to day.
I have to. We're like minute by minute at the moment. It's so cool to be like, wellness check. I'm like, yeah, it's not great. It's not great.
I know. I felt so bad because we just had a holiday and we were out of town and we are both moved to where we live from our hometowns. Yeah. And so we don't have the family here. And I remember a couple years ago, it was the worst holiday ever. It was just the four of us and everyone we knew, including Shannon, was out of town. And so my kids only had each other and they did nothing but fight nonstop. And I think I cried that day for hours. I think even my husband cried. Like it was so bad. So now I'm always like, I don't want to be around. I want to go where everything's open. I think the next year I took them to Disney World.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just want everything to be open and people and energy to distract them from fighting. And you were this past holiday where I was.
It's so funny. You're like 2 years.
And I feel bad that I left you.
Do not feel bad, but
yes, I do. Like I'm here for the next holiday, girl. I am here for 2 weeks.
I'm not going to be. We're even. No, I'm just kidding. But I do distinctly remember that holiday for you 2 or 3 years ago, whatever it was.
3 years.
But you know what's terrible? And now I'm going to have the friend guilt is I remember being like, I don't get it. Why is it so bad? Because we weren't in the constant fighting moments yet. And I was like, but it's beautiful. You're home. Like, just enjoy each other. Well, I get it.
Yes.
I get it now because we had great moments. Like, I don't want everything to seem so... We did have moments that I think hopefully are some core memories, but my goodness, we had some rough moments too because the battles are just...
The fighting, the kids fighting. But I loved you... I don't know if you posted a picture of Matthew, who's 2. He dumped out all of the seasoning that you needed.
All of it. And guess what? We just went without. I was like, I'm not going to the grocery store right now. We're not going to do this. We're not putting all 3 kids in the car. So you know what?
I love his stories. Like
he's a funny baby.
So into everything. I love it so much. I think mostly because Griffin was. And it like brings me back.
Yeah. And he takes off his shoes and socks all the time. That wasn't that Griffin. It's yes, but he did. He dumped everything. So we just did without. then he can get onto any surface. He crawls onto absolutely everything. And he insisted that he needed to do what the big kids were doing. He needed to help cut. He needed to help do this. And I'm like, okay, but you're going to hurt yourself.
Yeah, you're 2.
You're
and
2.
She's 9.
Yeah. So it's, but we got through it. And I do, there's beautiful memories too, but it was hard. It was hard.
And let's face it, like, holidays can be really hard for so many different reasons, but when you have kids that are fighting and the challenges, and it's just...
Yeah. Well, and it looked really different too, because normally we would travel back to my hometown, but we made the decision as a family, actually, we consulted with the big kids about, do we want to, because at this point it takes us 2 days to get there, because you have to stop. It's too long to have Matthew in his car seat. So we're like, it's going to take 2 days to get there, to have basically a day with our extended family, and then another 2 days to get back. And it was a unanimous decision of we're not. Yes. We're going to stay home.
Yes.
But I think we're just going to make a little bit, like we talked, we'll make some more plans for the next holiday so that there's just not feeling that trapped and sort of, and I get it. They were like just getting on each other's nerves, you know? They needed a minute. They needed a break.
We need a break. So maybe
2 things can be true. We can love the holidays and
need a break. That was great. I think that was a great way to kind of lead into, how do we make this not so, like, how do we remember in those times to kind of reframe our thoughts? Because what you're thinking contributes to how you're feeling.
So true.
So if we're thinking, I used to say this when I lived in Chicago, nobody understood why I loved the winter and the cold so much. And I simply would say, I also didn't have children at that point. Well, if I think it sucks, it's going to suck. But if I think this is amazing, it will be amazing. And I tried to use that once I had children, and it was not working.
You're like, I'm thinking this.
This is supposed to be amazing. Why isn't this amazing?
Where's the amazement?
And so, like, how do we train ourselves to kind of go back there instead of spiraling in our head, and kind of think about those positive thoughts, even if they're not true?
And I would love to hear from anyone who might be listening or watching, like, what do you do to reframe in those moments? Because yes, we're suggesting that 2 things can be true, but I also know, and we both have lived, like, when you're in the moment, it's very challenging sometimes. So I'm sure people out there have great ideas or things that have helped them. So share it. We want to know.
Yeah, we would love to
hear about it.
I'd love to do it.
Seriously, please help.
Help us, help you.
So yeah, I think the more we can share, I mean, again, we keep coming back to this point of community, and that's the whole point of why we're doing this. This is why, in the midst of our very chaotic lives, we want to carve out this time.
Yes.
Because community is so important. And I think that's what we're trying to do, is show up for each other. And I think if there are things that are helping you or that you're doing, share it. We want to hear it.
We do.
Because
we can all take all the information we can. And
none of us have all the answers, you know? I mean, and eventually, we want to talk to more people and get more solutions, but it doesn't mean that any one person has the one right way to do it.
Answer.
So the more we share, trial and error with different things. So let us know.
Send it over.
Please.
Yes. All right. Till next time.
Thank you.